All right. Welcome, everyone. Come on. I am ready for this episode of Let's Talk Photography. We have a lot of Nikon madness to discuss. So much has gone on in the last 2 weeks, and which means we're going to be able to fill up this show pretty easily. So let's get to it.
Join me every Thursday on YouTube for another live show of Let's Talk Photography. We cover the latest news, interviews with today's industry leaders, tips, tricks, lighting, cameras, and the business of photography. My weekly live stream is all about crowd participation. You're encouraged to ask questions, talk about the cool camera gear you've got or the camera gear you want to get. Hell, you can just join our open panel discussion during our Q&A portion of the show. The cost of access to Let's Talk Photography is very, very low. For today only, I'm hosting a very low price of free $99 to subscribe and press that bell icon to get notifications of my upcoming live streams. Now let's get back to the show.
All right. Come on, everybody. Yeah. I even got 2 new sound drops for you guys. I can't wait to use them. And let me see if I can share a couple of them right now. Of course, you all know my good old Ric Flair.
I do this for a living.
That's right.
I'm the best there is.
And I found this one, which was pretty dope, which is kind of an ode to Ric Flair. Let's check it out.
Give me 2 claps and a Ric Flair.
That's right. Give me 2 claps and a Ric Flair. That's right. When something's hot, I might have to give you 2 claps and a Ric Flair. Let's see right here. Everything else seems normal. If you guys see or stumble upon any cool sound drops I should check out, let me know. I would love to add them to my soundboard. But in the meantime, give yourself a round of applause. Just in case. If somebody needs to wake up, let me help you out, okay? Let me help you out waking up. All right, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Photography. As many of you know, I am Robert Silver. And if you haven't noticed, I've been using a much tighter lens, focal length rather, on my live streams. And I'm kind of digging it. It's just it's very concentrated. I was using a 35 prime, the Sigma DGD and art lens. And I was shooting at f2. And now I'm still shooting at f2. I like shooting at f2 when it comes to these nice talking head framing, but now I'm using the 50 f1.4 Lumix lens, and I'm digging how tight it is. It's really cool, and it's really nice because I don't have to worry about so many other distractions in my room. It's very focused, it's very tight, and gets right to the point. So I'm kind of digging it. Let me know if you like the framing of the 50 mil compared to my older live streams. That'd be nice to know. Let's see here. We already have a few comments. Let's go check them out, shall we? Let's check them out together. Randy says, inside. That's what I'm talking about. Shout out to you. I think I saw his comment super early. Yeah, that was an hour ago. Shout out to Randy. And then we got Malcolm Walker in the house. Good to see you. Good to see you. Go check out his channel. If you like Sony, you shoot Sony, want to know more about Sony, his channel is definitely the one you should be checking out, because you won't be hearing it here. Not that I'm against Sony. I just don't shoot Sony, therefore have zero experience with Sony, and I can't give you the best advice for my personal lack of experience. So go check out Malcolm. He shoots Sony, a lot of video, great channel. We have Fajar in the house. I hope you're already healthy enough to run the show. Yes, I am. Now, let's go back to memory lane real quick. The reason why I did not host my show last week was because, well, I came down with COVID, okay? And the week prior, I went to Miami to a film festival, had an awesome time, even though it was thunderstorms for half the time. And the other half, it was beautiful. You may have seen my live Miami Beach photo shoot I had with a model there. It was great. I love the experience. Just wish it was more dry. But who would have known I caught COVID? And so I was out and definitely was not in the right space to host a live stream. Got to take care of your health first. You know what I mean? So your health is your wealth, folks. Mark Man comes in. What's good? What's good with you, man? It's good to see you. Rocking that planner. And Rainy back in. We want the 35-1 too. Come on now. You already know I do too. And we're gonna talk about that 35-1 too, because they gave us that 1.4 and we're all like, huh. So we're gonna talk about that. All right. Mark Man says, I need to wake up. You're absolutely right. I'm gonna get a coffee drop. Matter of fact, let's see if they have a coffee drop. They gotta have a coffee drop, right? Because some of you guys sometimes need to wake up, depending on what part of the world you're watching my stream at, right? Ah, that was wild. All right, that guy sounds like he drank too much coffee. Anyway, I'll search for a good coffee drop for you guys. Rakesh in the house. Good evening, Robert. Good evening to you as well. Mark Man says, "Oh, I got the free shirt at Mike's Camera. You already know it. There you go. Hey, I'm glad you went there and checked them out. Hopefully, you let Jeff know you checked out my channel. But he loved the live stream I did over at the Dublin Mike's Camera store. He had a great time there, and so did I. And I know you guys can't see it, but check it out. Look at that. Got the Z6 III official Nikon shirt. You know, hold on. Let me see. There we go. Get the Nikon swag. So they came to Mike's Camera to do a touch tour, and of course I was there, and that's where I picked up the shirt. If you guys want to check out what happened during that my first impression of the Nikon Z6 III, go ahead and check that out on my channel right now. It is called Jesus, what is it called? It's called Nikon Z6 III First Impression. So go ahead, or First Look. So go ahead and check that out on my channel after this live stream. What is it called? Let me give you the exact name. Yeah, First Look at the Nikon Z6 III. Okay. I did that live, by the way, folks, so don't kill me with the quality, okay? But if you do go to nikonusa.com, you can see where they're doing a Z6 III touch tour. You could check it out for yourself in person. The rep that came to Mike's Camera had 2 bodies, and then he let me borrow it overnight, which was really awesome. So that shout out to Nikon and Jeff over at Nikon for allowing me to borrow overnight. And because he did, I have some news to share with all of you later on. Okay. The live stream. Oh, thank you, Rakesh. I really appreciate that. I really tried to make it really informative. As many of you may know, I did a great interview with Jeff over at Nikon, and also with James Watts over at Mike's Camera. So if you're over in the Dublin East Bay area, go check him out over at the Dublin store at Mike's Camera. We have Manila Martin in the house from the Philippines. I've been seeing you drop a lot more portraits. Way to go, man. Keep on shooting. I love it. Rainey says, question. Is it worth shooting in NRAW as compared to NLOG? Well, I've shot a lot in NLOG, or in log in general, right? I shoot, honestly, it's been through LLOG because of Lumix, their log algorithm profile. And I really like it, but a lot of times a lot of my projects, I shoot a lot in Cine D, right? So, because I don't want to, there are a lot of projects, believe it or not, that don't require you to have to shoot super, super flat all the time. Now, if you're shooting a commercial piece of work for a client or something like that, like when I shoot for, I have a big client, a commercial client on the 11th, I'm going to shoot, of course, NLOG, etc. But when I do NRAW and getting 444 and you're doing, what is it, ProRes and all that good stuff, it chews up so much space. So it really determines how much color grading do you need, do you think you need in terms of flexibility between highlights and shadows? Also, how much work do you want to do later on? And how much space do you want to take up on your hard drive for that project? Okay. Otherwise, I'll be quite honest, shooting at H.265 on Nikon, will get you through 60-70% of your work. If you want to shoot ProRes, you have that ability. But again, you're going into the ProRes and the NRAW for dynamic range. So if you need that extra dynamic range and you feel like you want to, you just want to flex, cool. But you will obviously take up more space on your hard drive. So that's really the question you should be asking yourself. How much post-processing do I really want to spend time doing? Am I really good at it? That's another question. And then how much space do I really want to take up for that particular project? So when I'm getting a paid project that may require that dynamic range, then, well, clearly they're paying me. So therefore, if I have to buy a separate hard drive for that project, it's part of cost of goods sold, right? So, but if you're just doing it for willy-nilly, that's up to you. But N-Log 265, you'll be just fine. You're going to get a ton of dynamic range, and more than likely, no one will know the difference because you should be shooting. You should already understand how to get good lighting, and that trumps it all. That trumps it all. If you get it good in the pocket, in the can, if you will, before you get to post-processing, you're going to be very, very well off, regardless if you shoot NRAW or N-Log. Okay? I hope that helped in any particular way, because NRAW takes a yes, exactly. I just answered that. And tell you the truth, believe it or not, as some of you may know, I've been using the Nikon ZF for my run and gun camera rig for work. Right, I'm a video content producer for a tech startup company called Revy, and I have to record content. I mean, hundreds of gigs a week, at least 300 plus gigs a week I'm going through. And I've been using the ZF. I just this week converted to the Z8, okay, because of the dual stack sensor, and it kicks ass, okay? And so with all that said, and the stability is crazy. So I converted it to the Z8, okay? And I've been loving it. Now, with that said, I shoot at 4K at 24 frames, H.265 on standard. And then I put the picture profile to flat. And guess what? It's beautiful. It's fine. If I want that extra dynamic range and ability to push and pull the highlights and the shadows, I could switch to N-Log versus standard. But I'll tell you right now, most of you, don't touch N-Log unless you really understand and want to learn how to color grade, because color grading is an art in itself. You could literally win like awards just for color grading good cinematic pieces. Like, it is no joke. All right, it's something I'd rather someone else do. So with that said, go into standard, go to flat profile will give you enough flexibility for most of your projects, and no one will know none the wiser. You can still throw a LUT on there, but you just best get the lighting spot on in camera, or at least, a half, maybe one stop off. Okay. That's my recommendation. Take it to the bank. Rainey says, I'm new on my color grading journey using a ZF currently. I start since 2011 with the Nikon D7000, then D750, Z6 II, and now ZF. Well, Rainey, let me tell you, those are all the cameras I had. I once had all those cameras, believe it or not. I had the D7000, D750, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I had the Z6 I, not the 2. And I loved all those experiences. And I currently do have the ZF, which is right over here. There it is, right there. It's right there. That's the ZF. Now, Rainey, you might kill me, but as soon as you pick up that Z6 III, you might get rid of that ZF. I don't know. And there are big reasons why I'll share with you later. Okay. So don't worry. That's why I said start with keeping your file to standard. Don't go to N-Log. Switch it to flat picture profile, and then you'll learn how to color grade from there, because it's flat enough to color grade a little bit and learn, but not so much. It's not too flat where you're just SOL if you don't get it right with the color grading. Okay. But you got to learn the basics of color grading if you want to do good video until you have a team. Mark Man says, I could be wrong, Rainy Horn, but You can record NRAW with log. Yeah, you could do all that. But again, do you want dynamic range? Do you need it for that project? And do you have the bandwidth, meaning the space in your hard drive to deal with all this crap? All right. I used to do 6K at work, and after 2 weeks, I said, oh, hell no, I'm going back to 4K. And I was doing all that stuff to be fancy, but then I realized how much time it takes. You have to also realize how much time it takes from the beginning to the end of your project. And is it worth it? That's called what is it? Opportunity loss or something like that. Dang, I can't remember the exact economic term. But either way, with the time you're spending on making it, is it worth it at the end? All right. Most of your projects will not need it. Stop it. Just because my Z8 can shoot 8K, I'm not shooting 8K. My boss doesn't even want 8K. I'm glad it can do it though. I converted it to the Z8 at work because it has dual stack sensor, and I need that reliability, and the stabilization is pretty crazy. All right. Not because of 8K. What's good, bro? Hey, Miles, good to see you. Rainey says, thanks for the feedback. Absolutely. That's what I'm here for 2 hours, talking to you guys. Roy Rigsby says, QQQ, what is the thing about videoers using old manual focus lenses? Honestly, I think it's because of the character. I noticed that in the cinema world, as I'm still learning to be a cinematographer for filmmaking, and there's so much to learn. But I noticed they go buck crazy over the characteristics of the old school manual lenses. That's what I noticed. They like the character, how the light, goes through the lens, and not some lenses are not so sharp. They love that old school stuff. So Mazel tov, rock and roll, baby, if that's what you like. Miles says, I won't be getting the Nikon lens because I have a Lumix camera, but the 35-1.4 is attractive. I have the Lumix 35-1.8, but I've been thinking about trading it in and grabbing the Sigma. Well, let me tell you, Miles, right now, that would be a fantastic decision. First of all, brand new, that Sigma lens, get the DGDN now. Not the DGHSM, get the DGDN version. Is a great lens. I have it in my bag right here, my video bag. It's a gorgeous piece of glass. It is, and after my interview with Sigma, when I was at WPPI, the DGDN art lenses are characteristically color, sharpness, etc., as their cinema line. So you're getting the same quality, okay, out of their cinema line with their DGDN art lenses. And that lens is well worth it. Matter of fact, their lenses are, for their 1.4 lenses, incredibly great deal. Okay. I have like 6 of their lenses. Love them all. So go ahead and do that. Get rid of that 35-1.8. You'll be just fine. And that 1.4 is gorgeous. It's gorgeous, man. And then come back and let me know about it. Okay, I won't be getting. Okay, yeah. I understand that. The Roy says the Z6 III is a great camera, but I'd rather pay a few hundred more and get another Z8. I see what you're saying. Right now, I think the Z8 is going for like $3,500 in America, and the Z6 III is $25,000. Totally get it. It's I understand why you would want that. To me, I'm a save. I would get the Z6 III. And I guess it's easier when I have a Z9 and a Z8 for me to say the Z6 III would make more sense. But it does for me, because I just want a great B cam. When I got, okay, everybody, let me tell you, let's go down a little story, shall we? All right, everybody. I'm currently in the middle of, hold on. We must. Where in the heck is my drops here? Where is my drops? There we go. I'm actually selling my Nikon ZF. I'm actually selling my Nikon ZF right there. Okay. Now, I have the SE40 f2.0 lens and the SE28 f2.8 lens. Okay, with the camera cage as well as the battery grip, the whole 9 yards. I'm selling it all, right? Not that I think this is a bad camera. As many of you know, I talked this camera up because hell, I put money where my mouth was. I bought this damn camera. And I love the camera. It's a great camera, 24 megapixels, etc. But then I got hired by a startup tech company, and guess what I got hired to do? To do a hell of a lot of video. And when I mean video, a lot of video, as I said. There are days where I do 100 plus gigs worth of video that I have to not only record, I have to manage, and then I have to edit, etc. Now, I rigged this out, as many of you saw on my YouTube channel. I rigged this out. It did a great job being rigged out. But then I started noticing certain things as a videographer I can't put up with. One is the max resolution was, 4K, right? Which I understood that when I bought it, but when I initially bought this, I wanted to do more still photography with this, and yes, it does do video. So I was like, oh, that's a double whammy. But I got it for like an everyday still photography camera, like a fun camera. But then, as I said, I got hired. I need to shoot tons of video. I didn't want to leave the Z8 or the Z9 at work, right? But I need a very, very dependable, high performing video camera, meaning stability, no micro jitters, all these like weird things I was getting with the ZF. I couldn't put up with it anymore. After like 3 weeks or so, I was like, you know what? And when the Z6 came out and and I got a chance to use it and touch it and everything else, I was like, yo, this is actually a great alternative, the Z6 III, because now I could still get high quality photos, but also high quality video out of that Z6 III. And it still does ProRes internally. It does everything I need, as well as a partially stacked sensor and all that good jazz. And I was like, you know what? And then I talked to Jeff at Nikon. I said, look, this is my dilemma. I have the 3 cameras, but yet for my work, that Z6 III looks very, very handy because I'm doing a lot more video work for a living. So, and he honestly said, you know what? Get rid of the ZF, sell the ZF, keep your Z8, keep your Z9, and get that Z6 III. So with that advice, I was like, okay, you know what? That does make sense. I still get ProRes. I get everything else. The, partially stacked sensor, all these things. The vibration reduction is, in-body stabilization is crazy good on the Z6 III. And the form factor is smaller than the Z8, so I could still use it and walk around and travel with that camera. And I got my flip screen, even though everybody hates it except me. I like it. So that makes it easier to bring with me and use as a vlogging camera, etc. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let's do it. And so that's why I'm selling the ZF. I'm not selling the ZF because I think it's a bad camera or anything. It's just my workflow. I'm doing way more video. And I personally rather not use the Z9 for video, even though it's highly capable for it. Spec wise, it's going to give me what the Z8 does, but the Z8 is more of a form factor for me to put a cage on and use it for video regularly. And the Z6 III, is going to give me that great amount of resolution, dynamic range, etc., autofocus, and it's cheaper just in case something happens to it. And the form factor is going to be a lot more pleasing to walk around with regularly as a still camera. And if I decide to put it on a gimbal, right, that Z6 III is going to be a much better experience on the gears of my gimbal than even a Z8. So that is why I'm selling Nikon ZF for the Z6 III. And I know a lot of you out there heard me say I'm not getting that Z6 III. But at the end of the day, I'm wrong. Okay? I was wrong. I was wrong until I got it in my hands and then really did an analysis of the work I'm doing and getting paid for, what tool is going to best suit my job. And right now, that's video. Okay? And yes, I'm still doing photography, but a lot of my photography is for this YouTube channel, which I love to bring to all of you. It's for more pleasure, but I'm actually getting paid more this year for video. All right. So that's why the Z6 III makes more sense for me. And that's why I'm going to end up selling the ZF. So there we go. Story time is concluded. All right, Malcolm says Roy supposedly certain old. Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. Character, exactly. That's how I saw it. The lenses have a great gear drive. They attach a remote motor to manually adjust the lens. Exactly. Yeah, with the cine lenses for sure. For sure, for sure. Well, with a certain pricing, sure, but I'm not doing the Z6 III move till there are some deals in maybe a year or two from now. I thought about that too, but if I could sell my ZF with the 2 lenses and the cages and the grip and everything, I will get enough to only like, maybe be $1,000 short or something like that. So, or more. So with all that said, I think it'll be fine for me to jump now versus later on. But that's a great idea. But I haven't seen a camera outside of the Z6 III for Nikon that's truly a good hybrid. And as I mentioned before, if they keep it at $2,500, I've been preaching that this is going to be a great camera that's truly accessible for most people, okay, that really want to have a hybrid option. A well-performing hybrid option. Let me put that out there. Because again, this does 6K, 4K. Let me see if I can turn on a video here. And okay, I have to attach the lens, but it does only up to 4K. At least the Z6 III gives me my 6K. I wish it was open gate, and I wish I had shutter angle, but those 2 things I could work around. What do you say? Yeah, the Z6 III is really what I wanted. Randy, like I said, if when it comes to selling your gear, like this camera is not even like a year old. Like you're going to still get a decent amount for it if you put it out there. Someone's going to pick it up or go to your local camera store. KEH offers, I want to say $1,200 for the ZF. Okay, Rainey, if you're thinking about it, right, go to KEH. See how much they're going to pick this up. I believe it's 1,200 plus. But the ZF is just so, yes, it is. It is. But you know what? I need my gear to help me make money, right? And if not, then it's just because I want to use it. I just want to have it. And I don't have any need for 4 Nikon cameras as much as I appreciate the brand and the cameras. But I need cameras that actually are helping me get to that next level in my career. And the ZF at this particular time is not filling those needs. And that's what I need to concentrate on. Rainey says, but I love the aesthetics of the ZF. If finances allow, I'll pick up the Z6 III at the end of the year. There you go. Ain't nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that strategy. Okay. Mark Man says, I just started practicing recording, currently using DaVinci Resolve to edit, also seeing how NRAW is processed too. Well, way to go. That's the way to do it. I don't say not to shoot NRAW, and I don't say not to shoot NLOG or anything like that. For me, it's just once you are using it regularly, then it just depends on the kind of project, and does that project really need all that? Okay. I just got a pair of squishy lenses. Can't wait to play in the world of 1.33. Golly. Yeah, let me know how that works out. I'm going to be on the lookout for that, Malcolm. Unboxing the Z6 III. I will do an unboxing of the Z6 III. Stay tuned. Maybe Mike's Camera, I could collab with Mike's Camera and they'll let me do it over there. Or maybe as soon as I pick one up for myself. Okay. So stay tuned for that, Rainey, for sure. But quite honestly, Rainey, if I were to do an unboxing, like if I bought one, it's only going to be body only. They have the 24 to 120 f4 lens kit, but I already have that lens. Love it. So it would only just be the body only. So just FYI, I don't want to put you to sleep. Mark Mann says, yo, let me make a payment. Exactly. Some of us have to figure, dude, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, it's $2,700 plus with tax here in California. And I'm like, damn, okay, how do I, you start doing the math. We all know, photographers, you all start doing that math, right? You're like, all right, so if I sell the body of the ZF and then I flip that and then I take this, okay, and then I'll pay that and I'll do this and then, yes, the Z6 III will be all mine. We all do that thinking, come on now. Randy says, yeah, I'm close to sell my ZF in favor of the Z. Well, if you want, I'm not gonna lie, when I got the camera in my hand, everything I said was out the door. Everything I said, I was, I don't need the Z6 III. I have the Z8 and Z9 and yada yada. But then I was like, boy, that could be really useful for me at work. I could still use it for my travel camera because it is pretty small. It's lightweight, that's for sure. It's a significant. You feel the difference compared to the Z8 in handheld holding. Because it resembles more of the other Z6s, Z6 II. I get 6K. That's cool. 4K 120. And the crop didn't bother me as much as I thought it would, quite honestly, because all the other pros outweighed that one con. That was the one thing I was kind of driving nuts. Like, I want the 4K 120 full frame. But the in-body stabilization was pretty freaking nuts. It was pretty good. So shout out to them, because Panasonic has always had fantastic stabilization, and Olympus too. But boy, Nikon was not playing with that. They're giving you all that internal goody codecs to work with, the RAW and everything else. Full HDMI. I'm like, man, this thing's pretty nice. Partially stacked sensor, so that means the processing power is there, so that you don't get weird situations with the sensor and how it's recording. Man, I don't know. Vic comes in. Yes, I will. He says, am I getting that Z6 III? I have, you know what? I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. As I said, as soon as this puppy sells, it's a Rapski, everybody. It's a Rapski. I'm running right to them. And I already got a call that they say, oh, we got an extra one. If you want one, Robert, I could have picked it up yesterday. But I don't want to. I want to sell this first. Then I'll go ahead and pick it up. But as many of you know, the one lens I must get by the end of this year is going to be that goddamn Plena. I need that 135 Plena. So tired of looking at it. It's so gorgeous. Roy says, since film days, I've gathered many 10-pin accessories. I would miss them on the Z6 III. Yeah, that's right. They don't have the electronic hot shoe. Why do companies do that? Let's talk about it. Why do companies do that? They'll like give you and then like this one little thing that you're like, well, why didn't you add that in? They always do that. Each brand does it. They always leave out that one little thing. It's like, oh, the ZF, it does this, it does that, and it does do, decent videos. Nothing wrong with it. But then they give you a mini HDMI. Now, I have like 4 cords I use for HDMI cables for my monitors, and then now I got to find that one that has the mini HDMI to full HDMI because of this one camera. Companies do that. It's so annoying. Randy says, I'm not a fan of the mic. Exactly. I'm not either. And I hate the fact that I have to carry that one cord, and if I lose it, I am SOL. While if it's full HDMI, everybody's got it somewhere. Albert comes in. What's going on, man? Thank you for tuning in, saying hi, stopping by to chat. Let's see. We got a lot of combo. There we go. Randy says, I love the upgraded camera body as well. If the Z6 III had the same body as the Z6 II, I wouldn't have wanted it. No, and here's the other thing, as I mentioned in my live stream during the first look, the grip is good. It feels really good. Um, and you do feel the weight difference between the Z8 and the Z6 III. That's why, like, for a B cam, I see it as a fantastic B cam from Nikon, which will still deliver the same color profile as the Z8, as my A cam, and light enough to be great on my gimbal. So that is like, I literally went through a whole mental checklist of why do I need my cameras? You know, what projects am I mostly getting paid to do? Because that's most important. All the cameras from the ZF, Z6 III, Z8, Z9, they're all going to deliver fantastic photos. I'm not impressed with what kind of photos I can get out of these cameras anymore. It's absolutely, there's nothing new, right? 120 frames a second. If once it gets to 120 frames a second and it's raw and full, you know, full size raw files, then I'll be impressed. But outside of, and I don't even need that. But they're all going to deliver fantastic colors, sharpness, autofocus is great. You know, like, I'm not going to complain about that. The video features is what really attracts me now, because that's really going to separate one camera from another, right? And you can see that from the Z6 III to the Z8. So the Z6 III, again, being cheaper, is going to be, for me, a great B cam. A great B cam when I'm doing, like, on the 11th, I'm doing like documentary style interviews with 2 people. I'm going to have to do 5 interviews of that. And then I have to do 4 conversational videos for their digital workbook. So I'm planning on using the Nikons if I can get the Z6 III on time. If not, I'm going to shoot with the Panasonic Lumix. Okay, because I already have those 2 cameras ready to go. And when I do shoot with more than one cam, I like it to stay all the same brand. So don't be mixing up brands here, because the color profile is completely different from other camera brands like Lumix and Nikon, Canon and Sony, stuff like that. Just stick to the same brand and it'll make your life way easier in post-production. Oh, la, la, la. And Roy comes in and says, Peter, the Z6 III has another oversized battery grip that doesn't support ENEL 18 batteries again. That's a, you know, I didn't even think about battery grip because I'm not going to be using one for this camera. But for those who would, especially for photos, I can totally see why that could be a big pain in the butt, because those 18s are great on battery life. But at least they take the EL15Cs and 15B and A's. So that means all the batteries I've been collecting, I can still use them. So I appreciate that. Markman says, sell the Z8, get 2 Z6 IIIs. You know, someone tried to tell me that, and I was like, But no, I'm not going to do that, because I like the Z. Remember, the Z8 and Z9 are stacked sensors. Like, they're not partial. They're not playing that game. You know, they're the real deal. Flagship cameras, 8K. I'm on all that. I want it all. Okay. I can see that being a question for you if you had maybe 2 Z8s or Z8 Z9, but I'd say still stick with that Z8. I have it rigged up, and when you put on the image stabilization, the VR, holy crap, that stabilization is crazy on a Z8. It's really good. I do like the feel of the old manual lenses. Yeah, the feel and the build qualities are fantastic. You can't get around it. But to me, lenses are like paintbrushes. You know, you never have just one or one kind, and it just really depends on how you wish to use them. So if you have the time and the patience for manual, that's great. That's why, like, when I shoot like short film projects, I would shoot more manual for precise control over the focusing. But then when I'm shooting photography, I'm shooting some portraits. Well, I want quick focus and just worry about composition and hurry up and getting that photo. So, you know, that's all. That, you know, there's manual versus autofocus lenses. You know, it's all up to you. But that's my thought process, at least. Hero Shots comes in. Hey, Hero. Dad, people don't want that 35-1.4. I'm definitely getting that lens. Wow. It looks like you're alone, brother. I'm sorry to say it. Mushi Mushi, hey. Albert says, I only purchased brand new cameras during the Black Friday sales. And if I were to go for refurbished cameras, I could potentially increase my savings double. That's a great strategy. If you want to wait, that's a great strategy. I unfortunately don't have the luxury of waiting till October, November personally, because I have to make projects right now. And right now it's like, oh, do I leave my Z8, a $4,000 camera at work? Or do I leave a $2,500 camera, which will more than suffice for the types of videos and the quality I need to shoot it at do? So that's where my logic comes in. That's the only reason. I'm not rushing like getting it tomorrow. As I said, I'm going to be patient, wait till I can for sure lock in the sale of my ZF, and then take that money and only have to pay maybe up to at most $1,000, and then I will jump into that Z6 III. So Mark Man says, I still have my Z6, need to get rid of that one. Well, there you go. If you got rid of that Z6, I don't think you're gonna get a whole lot for it, but you get something for it, and then jump into that Z6 III. The difference is night and day. It's a whole nother planet. Okay. It's a night and day experience. And the Z6 III was really, once I had it in my hand, that's when my mind, like, I was like, all right, I think I was wrong about this camera. Yeah, we talked about the specs and how useful a lot of it is. As many of you know, I said keep it at 2500, 6K, the benefits of 6K footage, 4K 120. It does 240 frames at 1080, which could be super fun for some of you guys. I mean, it's really hard to look at that in the Z6. It's not even not allowed on the same table. The new 35-1.4 Z isn't even an S lens. I know. Maybe time to third party again. That's a good point. We're going to talk about that. Matter of fact, we're going to get into it as soon as I catch up to these dang comments. Vic comes back, says sometimes you got to move your gear around. Absolutely, 100%. My old Z6 is my basher camera. There you go. That says enough right there, right? When it becomes basher camera. Oh, that's what it was. Wow, you waited super. Yeah, that was a long wait if you waited. Yes, I know, Mark, man. That planet is beautiful. Hey, it's so hard to get a bad photo. I think the only way you could get a bad photo out of the 135 Plena lens is by literally your composition being off, like really bad composition, and of course, horrible lighting. But overall, that lens is gorgeous. I wish the Z6 II had 2 USB ports like the Z8. Yeah, they weren't even like that Z6 II when it came out. It was basically the Z6 II should have been the Z6 I, because remember they rushed to hurry up and put out the Z6, Z7 just to show the world that they're into mirrorless. But honestly, the Z6 II what the first version should have been. And yeah, the 3 is just on a whole nother stratosphere. Albert says photography is a company with a single guarantee. There is a trade-off between gaining something and losing something. Absolutely. It just depends on what works best for you, right? I like heavier camera bodies. The heavier, the more stable. Well, then the Z8, Z9 is right up your alley then, 100%. Now, the Z6 III isn't like, a couple it isn't super light. It's not a block of feathers, but it definitely is lighter than the Z8. I noticed that immediately. Oh, Roy says Z lenses for work, manual lenses for fun. Oh, that's a great way to look at it right there. That's a great way to look at it. Rainey says, what brand memory card and sizes are you currently using? Well, I have a Lexar 128 gig, which I tend to keep in the Z8. And then I have a 512 gig Hoodman in my Z9. So if I were to get the Z8, a Z6 III, I'd pick up another one. And I recommend if you're picking up any cards, do never look at anything lower than a 128. Matter of fact, I would probably recommend going straight to the 512 because once you start messing with that NRAW and all this other jazz, I'm telling you, space is crazy. Like I shoot H.265, 4K at 24 frames. And with that 128 gig, I have about an hour and 15 minutes. Okay. 128 gigs, hour and 15 minutes worth of footage. So same settings, with the 512, I have about 5 hours worth of footage. And that's not shooting at ProRes, NRAW, and all that other stuff. This is just H.265 10-bit. All right. So get the largest you can get in size that you can afford. I'm telling you, you'll thank me later. As far as cards, those are the two I used. Never had an issue with any of those two brands. But there's so many brands out there, there really are. I bet they all come from the same manufacturer in China. I guarantee you that. Okay. So be more concerned with the size for sure. And make sure the speed is to your liking too, depending on the style of content you're creating. Roy says, I wish the Z6 III had 2 USB ports okay, we got that one. Here we go. Question. Would you use an external monitor for the new Z6 III? Hold on. Let me just say. Well, that was the wrong one. I meant this. Of course I would. Absolutely. The monitor I use for work is the Hollyland Mars M1 monitor. They have a version 2 that came out. I have the first version. It's freaking beautiful. Gorgeous monitor. It's not cheap. It's $499. Gorgeous color. All the functions you need professionally. Has a SDI cable in the back if you want to do it. I use HDMI. Of course, I power it through my V-mount battery, and it has built-in transmission receiver antennas built into the monitor. So if I have a Hollyland transceiver hooked to another monitor, I can transfer what that monitor sees on my camera to the director's monitor over there up to I forgot how many feet, 500 meters or whatever it is. So it's really, really freaking cool. So I highly recommend Hollyland personally, just because they make some great stuff, man. And I have Field World. Who do I have? Field World, Atomos. I have the Atomos Ninja 5, all the stuff. Hollyland Mars M1 is what I live and breathe with. And you can use that built-in transmission to send it wirelessly to your iPad or iPhone to monitor what's going on as a director view. So shout out to Hollyland. So that's the monitor I would use, and absolutely I'm gonna rig the hell out of this Z6 III. I tried to find the camera cage and it is actually, I think I have it saved on Amazon. Soon as I press the trigger to get that Z6 III, I'm ordering the cage with the top handle that they have specifically for the Z6 III, and absolutely I'm rigging the hell out of it. And if you're shooting video, you should start building your rig too, Mark. And if you have any questions, just DM me. I'll help you out with all that good stuff. Fajar, hope you got all my submitted photos. I did. Real quick, everybody. I want to do our photo critique today, but there's so much Nikon stuff I need to go over. Holy crap. Fajar, I do have yours. I already downloaded it, have it saved. I think I sent a reply email. If I don't get to it today, because I want to have a gang of people. I don't think I have a whole lot of submissions. I want to dedicate a full 2 hours to the photo submissions, but I already have yours. You're locked in. You're going to be the first person I go over. But there's been so much news with Nikon that I may have to dedicate this stream straight up for Nikon, because there's still stuff I want to go over. So please, be patient with me, please. So much to talk about. Roy says most new field monitors now have focus peaking. Exactly. Not only focus peaking, maybe I should make a video about this. focus peaking, false colors, your framing ratios. I like having a grid on there just so my composition's always solid. Some of them do internal recording, right? The Atomos Ninja 5, stuff like that. So many great features that make filmmaking or videography work much easier. And that screen, going from that 3-inch screen on the back of your camera to a 5-inch or hell, even a 7-inch is like, it's so massively advantageous for focusing, framing, and stuff like that, and finding the little details in the background. Like, oh, let me change that. So big. So absolutely recommend. If anybody's getting into video, a field monitor is a mandatory. It's not even a question. The only question you should have is which one. Fieldworld makes a good monitor for under $200. I could recommend. That's touch screen and everything else. I personally like the Hollyland because it also gives me that wireless transmission, which I could use their app, and I can monitor right here. Using the Hollyland app right here. Let me see if you guys. There we go. So I could use their app right here and watch what my Hollyland field monitor sees through the camera. So I could use my iPad or my phone as a director's monitor, which is awesome, and also makes you look more like an awesome cinema god to your clients when you can hand them your iPad and say, oh, this is what it looks like. What do you think? Rakesh says, how does Nikon Z6 III stack up with the... Okay, great question. So obviously, as we all know, there's always pros and cons. This is a great question right here. Of course, pros and cons. The Panasonic S5 IIX. If you want ProRes internal, you would have to shoot to an Atomos. I mean, it's external. If you want to shoot to the you'd have to shoot to the Atomos. So that's another big advantage for the Z6 III. You could do it all internal. You don't need a field monitor that does external recording like the Atomos Ninja 5. But Panasonic has open gate, which is so helpful. So with the Nikon Z6 III, when you shoot 6K, it's still at 16:9. When you shoot 6K open gate on Panasonic, it's the entire sensor. So you're going to get another 15% or so up top and on the bottom of the frame. That's included in the recording. So then when you recrop, you're getting that much more. So if you want a vertical video out of that same footage or horizontal, you're looking like a boss. Plus, open gate means you're going to be ready to go for anamorphic when you're using anamorphic lenses, because that's one thing Lumix has. It's capable to work with anamorphic lenses without a hiccup. So there's like these small little nuances that makes it a real big difference between the two. They both don't do full 4K 120 full frame and all that stuff. So, that's not really a hit there. It's all these little nuances. So it really depends on your workflow and also what you already have. If you already have Nikon lenses, obviously I'm going to say go to Nikon, save the money. And if you're already in Panasonic, but if you're starting from scratch, that GH7 looks pretty awesome. The only thing about the GH7, it's micro four thirds. If that GH7 was full frame, it would dust all these cameras, period. 4K full frame, it already does 240 frames. Panasonic has been doing 240 frames for super long. They just didn't talk about it. And the amount of cinematic features that are built into the GH7, hard to beat. And GH7 does airy color science. Not sure if you all know that. I think with the latest firmware update for GH7, it does airy, airy cameras, airy, whatever they're calling them. Alexa freaking color science. And I saw the testing. People have tested out. More seasoned cinematographers than myself tested it out. using it as a B cam next to the Airy Alexa, and they said they couldn't tell the difference. They just tweaked a little bit, and they said, wow, it looks exactly the same. So you're getting the Airy color for under $2,500. Only difference is this is micro four thirds. So that's a big difference in terms of, compression and everything else you're going to get through the lens, light, etc. So that's another thing. So that's low light performance is going to be different. So that's really the biggest difference. It's all these little things now that's separating it. And guess what's separating all three of these cameras? It's mostly the video, right? Obviously, the sensor size makes a big difference. But after that, it's just like the video components. They're all going to give you good photography. GH7 is a 24 megapixel sensor. So if you're talking about like losing quality there, you're not in photos. So those are like the little nuances. So if anybody's wondering about these three cameras and which one is best for you, holler at me, DM me on Instagram. I'll help you out to figure out what really is best for you. But if you're coming in straight up and you just want to shoot high quality video and like that's the name of the game, I'm going to push you probably toward that Panasonic. If you just want to shoot video, that's what you want to do, because even their higher end cameras are Netflix approved. It's S1H, because that could shoot 400 megabits a second. None of these cameras are shooting 400 megabits a second. Panasonic S5 Mark II, Mark IIX, I think does at max 200. So that's why I mean, it's like all these little nuances, but it really depends on what your end goal is. And is that camera going to get you closer to that end goal? Don't just listen to me and everybody else on the internet. These are tools. Is it helping you get to where you want to go? That's the camera for you. Mark Man says, Robert, already starting the rig right now, trying to decide which monitor to get. Dude, okay. I believe I sent you a monitor. That's a good one I sent you. The Feel World T5 or something like that. It's a touchscreen. That should be good to go. Battery life is going to be excellent on it. If not that Hollyland Mars M1, I'm not going to lie, if you don't need external recording, like if you don't need to record externally to your monitor, that Hollyland is awesome, but it's not cheap. It's $499, but damn it, I love it. I love it. Okay. I picked up the Viltrox monitor. There you go. But if you're going to shoot video, it's not even a question. It's really, when do I pick up a monitor? That's it. That's it. That's all. Okay. I had to fix a camera. I'm not sure if I told you guys. One of my Lumix S5 Mark II camera went down. Okay, something fried with the HDMI port or something happened where power transferred to the HDMI, burnt out that port. I sent it in. It's over $600 to fix. I'm getting it fixed right now. Now, did the camera stop? Did anything? No, the camera is completely fine. Like nothing is wrong with the camera. But damn it, if I can't use that external monitor, it really hinders my ability to do what I want with that camera. So I'm paying $600+ to have that HDMI port fixed so that I can use a stupid external monitor. That's how important having one is. All right. So I'm putting my money where my mouth is. Trust me, I can show you the bill. I'd rather not be paying for it. But I need to be able to use my video cameras with an external monitor. The experience and it just makes it much more of a pleasurable experience. Wait until you use it. You're like, damn, I don't know how I live without it. Vic comes in. Nothing wrong with the micro four thirds, especially in video. Absolutely. A lot of stuff that we watch, if not micro four thirds, Super 35, like tons of great stuff is made on these cameras. That's why you'll find so many more lenses for micro four thirds and APS-C when it comes to cinematography. So absolutely, there's nothing wrong with it. And no one will know the difference except you and your receipt. Rakesh says, if Nikon opens up Z6 III for OpenGate, that will be an awesome for absolutely. if they, I want to know what's stopping it. Like, I swear maybe it's a firmware update or what would it be? And shutter angle as well. I think those maybe just firmware updates. I don't see how the camera physically has to change to do open gate and shutter angle. But boy, I would have to recommend this camera for any budding videographer out there. The price is right. All right. Oh, my clients have to be convinced that I don't need to get the medium format out and full frame is gonna. Yeah, I can see that. All right, look at that. We actually cut up with these. It took an hour, but caught up to all these comments. I really appreciate it, everybody. Um, let's see here. What do we have next? We do have. Oh, God, I didn't even go over this stuff. Real quick, for those that don't know, sleeping on me, please go ahead and smash that like, that share, subscribe, and hit that bell icon because right now we're giving the goods. I'm helping everybody out answering these questions. All I ask for is a like and a subscribe. Okay. And yes, go ahead and follow me on all the socials. I am on Facebook, Instagram, pretty tough. If you DM me, I'll get back to you because if you DM me, I got back to you. I'm on Threads. I am on TikToking where I'm not stopping. I post maybe once a week or twice a week on there, but I don't post a lot. But I'm on TikTok, okay? And I'm on X or Twitter or whatever name Elon Musk decides to call that site. I'm on there as well. All right. I do want to let you know that I have 2 recent videos I posted. The latest, I'm going to say the oldest recent one is my photo shoot with this gorgeous model here at Miami when I was visiting. So go ahead and check out that live stream of my shoot with this beautiful model named Kayla. And I was shooting natural light and flash photography. Right here was natural light, by the way. This is natural light right there. And I also have my video I posted yesterday on how I edited these photos. Now, these photos were a live stream photo shoot I did. It was a boho, means bohemian, style fashion photography shoot I had with Venusa in Golden Gate Park. And I shot these. I did that last month. It was about a month ago. I did the live stream. You go check out the live stream for yourself on my channel after the show. And you can check out how I shot these. But this video I just recently posted is how I edited these photos. So if you're curious how I post-process and edit, I took one of the photos and I edited it and just walked you through my mental process when I'm editing. And I used one of my own presets to start the process, by the way. And yes, I do have a set of presets. I haven't set it up to sell them yet. If you are curious about my collection of fashion photography presets, feel free to send me a message or an email. But I do have Lightroom Classic presets. I just use them for myself. But anywho, so those are the 2 recent videos I have posted. This weekend, everybody, I will be going live on Sunday with another model in San Francisco on a beach. So we have a cool shoot then. That will be a swimwear. I believe we're doing swimwear. Yes, I think that's the concept we're doing. I'm going to be shooting natural light using a reflector, etc., and such other accessories. Because sometimes shooting on a beach, if you have a flash, boy, they'll come out and ask for permits and everything. But if you're just shooting to shoot, they don't bother you. So I'm going to just shoot natural light for that during Golden Hour. So definitely you want to tune in or subscribe and press the bell and get notified when I do go live. I'm going to go live around 5 o'clock. That's Pacific Standard Time on my YouTube channel. So definitely you want to check out that live stream. And I have another live photo shoot coming up later on in July as well. And matter of fact, I have, I think 2 or 3 live photo shoots lined up already. So if there's any concepts or anything you want me to do during my live or during my future live photo shoots, let me know. And I'll be glad to go over that and make it a part of that video. All right. Let's see here. We got some. Roy comes in. How do you feel about power zoom making a comeback in lenses? You know, it's funny that you said that because obviously they made a big point about it. And I've never really needed power zoom or zoom in general like that. Not for portraits. Maybe I'll play with it a little bit more to check it out. Um, the Z8, I believe, has it, and of course Z6 III. So I'm gonna have to do some playing around with it, see how it applies to me. Because even though these cameras are very feature rich, like a lot of these functions and features I don't need. I just don't use. And so forgive me if I don't know all of them or have experience in it. But once I do, I'll definitely share that for sure. But it sounds very cool. Um, what is that pre-capture? Like I haven't even used that once yet, but I'm glad it's there. It's a very cool feature, right? But I haven't used it. But if you're shooting sports, it's going to be clutch for you. Um, Mark Man says, Robert, you need help on the photo shoot? Hey, if you want to help me with a photo shoot, let me know. DM me. Let me know your availability. And I can let you know what those dates are. And if you can make it, that'd be great. But um, you gotta be willing to come on through. I get a lot of people. Okay, story time. Here we go. I get a lot of people who want to help me with shoots. They want to learn all this good stuff, and I'm all for it. As many of you know, I if you DM me with a question in photography, I don't know a time I never answered back. I really don't, because I had so many questions as I was learning, and I'm still learning. Don't get this beanie twisted. I'm still learning. But when I was really at the beginning of my learning, like there was none of this. There was no huge communities of photographers on the internet and YouTube or nothing like that in 2010. They had a few, and but there was just this wealth of knowledge at our fingertips just wasn't there like that. So I just had to figure it out. But now I feel like I've learned a thing or two, and I'm in a space where I can help some folks out there. I don't know how to hold that back. I know plenty of people who will quickly like to charge for their time. You could ask them questions. It'd be nice. I don't mind getting paid for the knowledge I know, but I just like helping others out and seeing them grow, and knowing that they can reach out to me if they have a question or two. So if you have a question about wanting, you needing to level up in your gear or just in photography in general, as long as it's a simple question, come hit me up. But also realize I also have a life and a job. Okay. But as far as needing the help, if you want to help a more experienced photographer out there or videographer out there, not only do you have to obviously be willing to and wanting to, but you have to make it happen. You have to be like, okay, it's on Mars, I'm there. Right? Oh, it's in Pluto. When's the next train? I'm on my way. Because that's one of the reasons why I tend to not have assistants on set. It's not that I don't need the help. Of course, I would love the help. Are you kidding me? But people just aren't that available. They forget that they have a schedule, and what my schedule for content creating and the shoots I have planned are not going to change because you can't come. So you have to change your schedule and adapt to the person you're trying to help out and learn from, and then make it work. Because everybody would love to have help, but man, not a lot of people are that available, and then thus that dependable, and therefore completely useless. So like that's the reality. If folks are wondering like, why is he always doing everything by himself? Well, because guess what? I'm doing it whether you can make it or not. The show must go on. But I would love help. Are you kidding me? I would love help from somebody who wants to learn. Shoot, just be available. That goes for anybody looking to work with anybody that's worth anything. Okay. You got to be dependable, reliable, and of course, always on time. Matter of fact, on time is late. Write that down. Make it a shirt. Exactly. It's not even I need people that are reliable. And trust me, people who have helped me before on a shoot or two, I pay them in future projects. Like if I get a paid project, like on my project on the 11th is a huge video project. I'm paying 2 assistants. Like I end up blessing, but those 2 assistants have helped me out with my YouTube channel or helped me out with other things, whatever. And then when I get a pay gig, they're the first people I call and say, hey, look, I have a budget. We need this project done. So it's like, it's all reciprocity. I don't ask for free help if I'm getting paid. That just doesn't go down. And if we're doing YouTube or something like that, my channel's not at 100. I'm damn near almost at 10K, but not 100K. So I'm not getting breaded like that to throw money. So we're both going to win. Trust and believe it. I'm going to help you with knowledge, etc. And then I need your assistance. That means being on time, being available, ready to rock and roll, and understand there's only one cook in the kitchen. That's one of the worst things you can do. You guys got to read the first law of 48 laws. 40. Jesus, let me grab the book. You guys got to read this. You want to be a great assistant? You got to read this book too. Okay, 48 laws of power. Let's get to the first one, shall we? Let's get to the first one. You guys want to be a good assistant to an amazing creative that's going to help take you somewhere? Okay. Look at this. Law number one. Law number one. What does that say? Never outshine the master. If you can't get past that, you'll never be a good assistant. And every great leader is a great follower. They know how to learn, listen, shut up, do what they're told, execute. That's why they're great leaders. They listen to those around them. They only keep people that are valuable around them. Otherwise, they wouldn't trust their word. They don't have them around. So with that said, remember law number one, never outshine the master. I've had assistants before, and I'm dealing with the model or the whoever, and they're trying to like always impose their knowledge and like, you know what, you should do this. No, this is my goddamn shoot. Shut up. Okay. Jeez, it says Robert Silver-Photography for a reason. All right. So if you want to be a good assistant, you gotta know, you gotta be a good assistant. I mean, it comes as simple as that, and reliable. Without an assistant, who would be there to drop you? I like that. Good one, Roy. I really like that. That was a good one. You're absolutely right. Who am I gonna blame? Why is my coffee cold? All right. Nah, I never send assistants to get my coffee though. I'm not that big yet. All right. So we passed that. Let's get to the first topic, azure, if you will. Hold on, I see a comment just pop up. Oh, Rainey says, so did anyone see where the Nikon USA website had an error and a honeybox code was giving discount on all the camera bodies and lenses? What? When was that? When was that? A few persons got the Z6 III at $2,000. Wow, that's awesome. It's always right after or before I look at the website. That's what I noticed. All these things. I remember like, what was it? 2 years ago, Amazon was like, had a crazy Black Friday sale on Sony cameras or something. And of course I missed it the day after. So it is what it is. Ghost comes in. Hello, Robert. New to your channel. Just want to say thank you for your Z6 III live stream at Mike's Camera. Picked up my Z6 III yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Picked up my Z6 III yesterday, along with the 85-1.2. Almost bought the Plena 2. Well, I'm going to tell you, well, I'm not going to tell you anything. You're a grown person. First of all, thank you and welcome to the channel. Hope you subscribed, and I appreciate you checking out the live stream. That Plena is worth every dang dollar. I don't care about any other lens. That lens is beautiful. Now, the 85 is very practical, right? You do a lot of damage with that 85-1.2. It's a gorgeous lens. I did a review on that lens as well. Great lens. But that 135 is that woo-wee. It's that Ric Flair. Hold on. It's that.
Give me 2 claps and a Ric Flair.
Yeah, that's that Plena. The Plena makes you want to say that. Give you 2 claps and a Ric Flair. So when you pick that up, Ghost, let me know. And I already know what you're gonna say. Just send me a smiley face. I already know what time it is. Okay. When you do pick up that lens is the King Kong. If you shoot portraits, here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna make a declaration right now. I'm gonna do it. Whoops. Nope. If you shoot portraits and you have a full frame Nikon camera, shoot portraits, especially if you shoot it for profit, right? Side hustle, full time, whatever your thing is. You must get that Plena. I said it, must get that Plena. It's that beautiful. It's that great of a lens. Rainey says it was yesterday. Dang, I wish I saw it. Exactly, Mark, man. Woo. I missed it too. Trust me. I was at work. Is anyone waiting for the Sigma to make full frame Z glass? I would love it. And I bet a lot of you would too, especially if it was the same quality, just a Z mount on their DGDN art lenses. I'm not gonna lie. I'd have to start really pushing that as the viable professional high-grade option for third-party lenses. 1.4 lenses, all for Z mount. I can see why Nikon isn't rushing to do it. Quite honestly. Rennie says, Planet is tempting. The 85 would be more practical. Exactly. That's what I was saying. The 85 has a higher use case, right? It's much easier to fit into the mix. But that 135 is that ooh-wee. It's that Ric Flair. Okay. King Krupp in the house. It says, I'm waiting for Nikon cinema lenses. You know what's funny? I bet you that the Nikon cinema lenses are going to deliver the same quality as the Z lenses, but the mechanics for cinema, right? The gears, manual only, etc. So pretty much be like, I bet it will be pretty much like a Z lens in terms of quality, coding, etc. Coding. But with the cinema experience. Hopefully that means it'll be cheaper, right? I'm thinking their lenses are going to be around $1,200 to $1,500. That's what I'm thinking. If Nikon actually did cinema grade lenses, right? Because the lack of autofocusing and everything else, it'll be $1,200 to $1,500 each. If they did that, that would be smart. That'd put it right in the line of medium grade kind of quality, like not cheap crap that's under $1,000, but $1,200 to $1,500. Let me know if you think that's a bad price for cinema grade lenses, prime lenses from Nikon Z mount. Rainey says, I had to mute for the Plena announcement so my wife doesn't hear. I know what you mean, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Hey, y'all. Hey, Georgie, good to see you. Always good to see familiar faces, or rather profile pics and stuff. I like the 50 and 85 1.2 for portraits and the 85 in Plena for headshots. Absolutely. That's great. That's fantastic there. You can't go wrong with a 50. You're not allowed to be called a portrait photographer without a 50 in my book. Screw that. If you don't have a 50, even if it's a 1.8, I don't care if it's a 1.8, but you got to have a 50 in the bag. Like, really? Mark Mann says, taking off to coach. You guys have a blessed one. Thank you. Thank you for checking in. Shout out to Mark Mann. Thank you very much, man. Georgie says, just joining in what I missed. Well, it's all about Nikon right now, so jump in. The water's warm. Mark Mann says, I wonder if their cinema lenses are going to be like the Noct. Oh, boy. Like I said, I think, remember, first of all, it's going to be rated in T-stops, right? That's the first thing. So we're going to get a very accurate measurement of light going through that lens, as well as the next lens you pick up. And then the gear mounts, right? And then it's more likely all manual. But Sigma, as they noted, The quality, color, sharpness, etc., contrast is exactly the same as their cinema lenses as well as their art lenses. So if they could do that, then, well, Nikon can too. I recommend that they stay around $1,200 to $1,500 each. They would sell a ton. They would sell a ton. That's just my recommendation. Hopefully they listen, just like they listened and found out the Z6 III at $2,500 was a perfect price, which is what I thought so too. All these cameras nowadays are so good across all brands. Yeah, it's really hard to really say one is better than the other. When people ask me, "Oh, should I get a Nikon or Sony?" I say, "What camera do you already have?" "Oh, you already have a Nikon Z camera?" Well, then clearly Nikon is, you're just fine. None of these systems are really that much better than the other. Like Sony, the biggest advantage is maybe their autofocus, right? But like Canon's autofocus is ridiculous too. And color, all of them are great. Photos, all of them are great. Autofocus, well, Nikon is even catching up. They're not playing, they're not slouching. You look at all the features. What camera can you get ProRes RAW for 2,500 out of a Sony and a Canon for the same price? I will wait. Yeah. Yeah, we'll keep going. There is none. All right. Can the Z mount accommodate a bigger sensor? Why can't a medium format Z mount be possible? Oh. Hold on. I don't know. It looks almost edge to edge right now as it is. That when you talk about something like that, you know, Wayne Maddox would be a great person to ask that question, Rainey. He's over on YouTube. Check him out on YouTube at Wayne Maddox, Mattoucks, and he's very technical. Like he would know very technical stuff like that. I'm not the hugest techie when it comes to that, and hell, I don't even care to shoot medium format at all. So yeah, I just don't look up that sort of stuff because I don't care to shoot medium format, to be honest. But check out Wayne Maddox. He'll give you some dirt on the specifics on the capabilities of what it could do and why it won't. Rainey says 80% of my images are with the 51.2. I absolutely love it. Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. You're absolutely right. I love my 51.2, and it is the most used lens I have in my Z bag. Like for real. I actually choose it over the 24 to 70 way more than anything. So shout out to that 51.2. I paid for it and never bucked at the price because that lens just delivers. So after having that 50, no wonder people are really upset about that 35-1.4 not being a 1.2. Ghost says, would love to pick your brain regarding photography, starting a business. I'm a local. I'm just down the road from you, and it would be an honor to assist you on Sunday. Well, Ghost, send me an email. My email address is down below in the description section. Send me an email. Let me know your name here as Ghost. And then we'll figure something out. Okay. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Roy comes in. Most Z lenses can cover a small medium format sensor like a Fuji DFX, but may lose some quality around the edges. Well, there you go. And Roy knows a thing or two about a thing or two. So thank you, Roy, for that. See, this is the benefits of the community. If I don't know something, I have no problem saying I'm not strong in that arena, and I passed the buck and someone picked it up. So thank you very much, Roy, for that. Okay, just because you get a Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Albert comes in. These days, many helpers have ulterior motives and seek to undermine the teacher. during my time as the light standing tape boy, I was expected to be quiet, only speaking when spoken to. LOL. You know, not that I run a shop like that, but it's a good way to go in. Because as I just stated, okay, law number 1, 48 laws of power. Okay, let me pull this up again because some of you may think I'm lying. Okay, what does it say right there? Never outshine the master. First law, shut your trap. Okay. I work for, I'm not gonna lie, I like my boss a lot. I respect him. I respect him more than anything. I don't just go up to him and I just a lot of people shoot shit. Maybe that's gotta get that. I don't know why. I just have certain respect where I speak when I have something to say that I hope contributes to the direction of the company, etc. I'm a little old school, and I'm never gonna be in a position where I'm trying to just to show my place to try to outshine or undermine my boss. That's not good. Okay. First law of power: shut your trap. Don't outshine your master. Okay. That make you a very valuable assistant off top. Anyway, where are we? Oh yeah. Yeah. Some people have ulterior motives. Exactly. That's why I can do all my work by myself. The video work gets a little tough. I'm not gonna lie. A lot more gear involved, a lot more stuff. It's worth paying somebody for. But especially if I'm paying you to do what I need. All right. Anyway, Michelle Al Falazi. I want to know how to say this correctly. Anyway, Michelle, welcome to the club. What specs should Z7 III have? Oh boy, well, you know what? I knew this was gonna come. I knew this was gonna come. And being that we literally just dropped the Z6 III last week, it's just getting into people's hands this week. I can't even imagine to start really honestly looking at the Z7 III without literally having gas. Now, not gas due to my bowels. I mean, gear acquisition syndrome, because it took us a while to really believe the specs and the rumors of the Z6 III, which ironically ended up being pretty spot on. Let's take a moment to realize that Nikon rumors actually was pretty spot on with their rumors, and which I'm very happy about because I wanted that 6K. So Z7 III, I haven't even sat down to try to digest it yet. But I know if you shoot high res photos, that's going to be the camera for you. It's going to be the high res king of kings. That's for sure. It won't be 24 megapixel like the Z6 II, a Z6 III, excuse me. I'm thinking it's going to go hard and heavy in the paint. I don't know how much more better it could do at photos. Maybe 64 megabyte. I don't know. Shit, megapixels. I don't know, but it's going to do more. It would be damn near a medium format. Whatever it could do to push it closest to medium format. That's what I think so far. Because video, nobody's going to care about it going to video. It won't have a flip screen. It will have a screen like the Z8, a back screen. Stack sensor, I'm thinking. 64 megapixel minimum. It's going to have to outdo the Z8, Z9. Photocentric. It'll do great video just because it can. But it's not geared toward it per se. Right? So the Z6 III had the flip screen. They really made it for content users because believe it or not, content users want that flip screen. It's handy. People who balk at the flip screen primarily shoot photos. And what else is there? That's it for now. But definitely those features, of course, I think it's going to have dual CF Express Type B. I think it would be smart. But due to cost, it may keep it down to 1 and 1, like the Z6 III. That's all I can say for now, but it's got to outpass the Z8, I think. It's got to be if you're looking at all the product mix, right? You put the Z6 III, the Z8, Z9, it's got to fit in between those two, the Z8 and the Z6 III. It's going to go hard in the paint with that sensor, with the photos. Maybe if you're lucky, raw 120 frames a second. Gotta stop the JPEG somewhere. Because that's what unimpresses people. Like with the Z9, it was like 8 mega, like small files, 8 megapixels, something like that. So I think they're gonna go hard in the paint with the photo capability. And of course, improved autofocus. That's the best I can share. Georgie, Robert, how do you like the new 35? All right, let's talk about it, folks. All right, let's get to it. Before we do, I do want to share this. If you haven't already, make sure you go ahead. If you own this lens, the Nikon Z70 to 200 millimeter f2.8 S lens, there has been a new firmware update, very minor, but go ahead and update your lens. It's free $99, Nikon USA. Go check them out. Download center. I just updated my firmware of my lens right before we went live. Okay, it's very easy. Download the bin, put it on your SD card or whatever card, and then, update it accordingly. All right, so go ahead. That's my public announcement right there. Firmware available for the Nikon Z70 to 200 millimeter lens. A gorgeous lens. All right, so that's that. Now let's get to the gorilla. What do they call it? Monkey in the room? Elephant in the room. Here we are. The Nikon Z35 f1.4 lens. Here we are. Okay. Now, what do I think about it? Well, I'm glad they dropped the lens, I guess. Now, it's very interesting where this lens fits, in my opinion. Who said it best? I think it was Matt Granger. Shout out to Matt Granger. He summed it up pretty well. Go check out his review of this lens. He only had it for I think a day or something, maybe 2 days. Go check out his review. But he said it I totally agreed with what he said. So the 35-1.4, if you're looking for a lightweight, very compact, it's only 62 millimeter filter thread. This is very compact. This lens right here we go. Check this out, everybody. Let's go overhead. Check this out. This is a Lumix micro four thirds lens. It's the 12 to 60 millimeter f2.8 to 4.0 lens. It's their kit lens that they tend to GH7, G9, etc. Right? A great lens made out of metal, weather sealed, etc. Point is the size. This is a 62 millimeter filtered thread lens right here. Very compact. Very compact. Here's my hand. Very compact, right? So that is the same filter size as that 35Z f 1.4 lens. So that Z lens is very compact. I mean, this thing's compact. It's got to be lighter than hell because it doesn't even have a manual focus switch there. Autofocus, manual focus switch. So shoot, this lens is light. It's compact. So if you just need a fast lens, 35 mil, super light, throw it on your gimbal, or an extra 35, this is a pretty damn good lens for $600. Let's talk about that. $600 gets you in the game. Okay, if you just want a super fast prime lens, street photography, etc., or video work, you just need it to do what it does, it's going to get you there. No problem. Now, ironically, in the 35-1.8 has better coating for lens flare and everything else. So that's the irony. The 35-1.8 has somewhat better internals. I think it has more elements in it, and there's more special coating in the 35-1.8. But the 35-1.4 gets you a little bit, 2/3 of a stop more light. So there you go. And the 35-1.8 has autofocus and manual focus switch. This one does not. Now, am I mad that they came out with this lens? I'm not mad, but I think it left a lot of people scratching their head for sure. Like, why now? You came out with the Z6 III real hard. You were promoting the 35Z f1.2 lens forever on the lens forecast map or whatever. So that's what everybody was expecting to go, double down on the success of the Z6 III and everything else, come hard in the paint. And obviously they came with this. I have no clue why the timing, but I would not consider this lens. If you still want that ZF 1.2, I would not consider this lens. If you just want a super fast, lightweight prime lens at 35, this will do you the justice. Okay? But I would not get this lens if you're considering waiting for that f1.2. I'll tell you why. Because you're not going to get $600 back from this lens ever. If you buy it for $600 right now, $672, whatever it is, you'll never see that same amount from this lens. I would save the $600 and put it toward that f1.2 lens when that becomes available, because it will become available. I'm thinking for sure during this year, like they have to, after the response of this lens. People were really upset that they wasted their time dropping this damn lens and not giving us the 1.2. I saw it all over the place, people's comments. So again, if you're looking to get the f1.2, do not get this lens. Save it. Because even if you resell it, you might get $300 something. I'll tell you that right off top. Okay? So you'll never see that 600 again. And you could have put that full 600 into at least toward the f1.2. Use it as a down payment toward it or whatever for your pre-order. Because that lens will sell out just as fast as all these cameras have been. As a Z8, Z9, and the Z6 III, it will be just as hard to get. That lens will sell very quickly. So do not get the f1.4. If you're not considering the f1.4, the 1.2, excuse me, which will be larger glass. It will have all the coatings and everything thrown at it, just like the 85-1.2 was and the 50-1.2. Both lenses are fantastic pieces of glass. Both are huge and they're heavy. So if you do not want any of that, then f1.4 could be an option for you. Now, if you have the 1.8, I would not get that glass. There's not a big enough difference for you to go get the f1.4. I like having the autofocus, manual focus switch. And when I heard that there's certain coatings that's left in the 1.8 but not in the 1.4, that's an issue for me too. I'd probably stick with the 1.8 because there'll be a lot less times that you probably need that extra 1.4 difference in stops of light than the coating. I would take the coating for sure. And I would like to see a bokeh test between the two too when they're wide open. So that's my opinion about the f 1.4 lens. Very interesting timing with the dropping for sure. Hold on. Boy, oh boy, we got a lot of. I am not going to be able to keep up with all these comments. I do love all this action. I'm going to go right through it, everybody. Okay. So that's it, Georgie. I hope you appreciated that answer. It's a long answer, but I hope you liked it. King Kruk, I wonder if we can get VistaVision format medium NIKKOR Cine lenses. Ooh, Woo, say that 3 times fast. I want to, first of all, we have to remember, here's a shot across the bow that they're absolutely serious about cinema lenses for Z cameras or Nikon NIKKOR. When they finally make sure that there is a Z mount available for Red cameras, that will let you know they're about to drop everything they got in making cine lenses. The easiest thing they can do right now is to add a Z mount available for Red cameras. I think that's the easiest thing they could do. The cameras will stay the same. They literally just need to switch the mount. The glass would take longer to manufacture, put together, test, etc., research, blah, 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 blah. Right? Switching from f-stop to t-stop, etc. I can see that taking longer. But until they start making Z mount available on Red cameras, then, you know, all this other talk about cine lenses is more of a pipe dream, I think. King Kruk, dreaming. Absolutely, man. I'm just saying, you know, I'm just sharing. George says, by the way, I'm going to be in the Bay Area this weekend till Sunday morning. Maybe I'll bump into you out there. Awesome, Georgie. Yeah, feel free to DM me on Instagram. Keep me posted. You never know what I'm up to. Saturday, I'm going to be probably relaxing. What am I doing Friday? I forgot what the hell I'm doing Friday. Oh, I have a company bougie day, so that's gonna be fun at the job site. But on Sunday, I have my photo shoot. So there you go. Rainey says, I'm sure Nikon is sitting on a 60 megapixel sensor. Exactly. It's not going to be the 45, 50 megapixel. Nope. They're going to go hard in the paint. 60 plus. They're going to double down on the photo capability. If you shoot landscape, sports, anything, especially anything with high res, man, this is going to be that will be the camera for you. That lens is so good, that 70-200. Absolutely. Never selling that. Or the 24-70. Rainey says, I think Nikon released that lens to throw shade on Canon. Oh, yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. Maybe they just had it and they're like, look, we'll just release this real quick, get it out the way. But I really think this year they're going to drop that 35-1.2. But if you're thinking or even remotely considering the 35-1.2, do not get that 1.4. Don't do it. You're literally wasting money. It's like driving a brand new car off the lot and you just lost 20% of the value, like immediately. Don't do it. And then trying to resell it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I bought it for 10 grand. No one cares. They'll buy it for 7. Banana Man. I like that. But the Banana Man can. What was that? The Candy Man can. Oh, that was Willy Wonka. Shout out to Willy Wonka. He says, I thought Matt said he only had it for like 2 hours. Oh, yeah. Okay, 2 hours then. Even worse. Yeah, you're right. And now that you said that, you're right. But his conclusion was pretty solid. It was very logical. And I had to agree with it. That's the moral of the story. Is I think I honestly agreed with it. I liked his perspective. It was very honest. And he's like, look, here's where the lens fits. Is it a nice lens? Sure. But here are the differences. And honestly, you know, is it that big of a difference? If I already have the 35-1.8, is it really that big of a difference? Probably not. But there will be a big difference from a 35-1.8 to a 35-1.2, especially if it came out as an S lens, all the extra coating and extra blades and whatever, and a diaphragm. Yeah, absolutely. I think they released this for video. Yeah, it could be very much so, especially for simple content creators, just want a nice, wide open, fast lens. Absolutely. I can see that. And it's cheap as hell. $600. Can't beat it. I heard that there would be a 1.4 50 mil as well. Boy, oh boy, I tell you. Well, if I don't have a 35-1.8 or the 35-1.4, so which one would I get? Probably the 1.4, just for that extra little piece of light. I ain't gonna lie. But the price, I mean, come on, $599? Shoot, that's nothing. In a big scheme of things, what I could get out of it. It looks like a fun lens, you know, great for street photography too. Non-Z, yes. Sorry, yeah, it's a non-S lens. That's the thing. So those are the trade-off, you know? That's why the cost is what it is. I can't remember if it's a is it made out of plastic or let me see. Does it say? Let's see tech specs. It doesn't say. Stops down to f16, 62 millimeter filter size, 14 ounces. It's not even a pound. But yeah, I don't see what it's made out of. So it might be plastic too. So, you know, and I guarantee if we get that 1.2 lens, it's going to be metal. That's for damn sure. Fajar says more options means better. I think it's good move for Z. Of course, 100%. It's going to keep people in the Z family for sure. And for those who are considering finally going to Z, right, to the mirrorless, it's a viable option. Now you have 1.8, 1.4, and 1.2 options in terms of lenses. So I like that it's super affordable. I can't deny that. If you don't have a 35 prime and you're like whatever on the f1.2, you know, the 1.4, I'm $600, man. I mean, like, come on, people. Like, that's super affordable. The 35 D14Z lens is still a little big for a street photog lens and too slow for an astro lens. Well, oh, okay. You said, oh, the D14 lens. Yeah, you might be right about that. Well, that's why like these little lenses are pretty practical. But let's not forget, like, I guarantee you, if I grab a set of f1.8 lenses, I can make killer portraits all day with it. You know what I mean? Even the Plena is 1.8. So like having it 1.4 or 1.2 is going to make you a better photographer. That's for sure. So just realize when you're looking at these lenses, which one is going to really suit you best for the style of photography you're doing. What I'm sure, Rainey says, what I'm sure of, Nikon will have plenty lenses to release in the future to scratch our heads. Yep, it's just going to give us more to talk about during the next live stream. It's also going to give us our wallets a headache for some of us, right? But you know what? You know, I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of things we could waste our money on that's a lot worse than some cameras and some lenses. So shout out to us, shall we? All right. I'm more proud to say, hey, I spent $2,000 on a camera or whatever, on a hobby, on a passion, any day than hell, even on a car. Like I was just talking to someone today. I was like, the car is like one of the worst things you can invest in unless it's a pure classic and you know what you're doing with it. It's an absolute liability through and through. But I can make money off of this, you know. So, you know, I get value out of it. And it's fun. Let's be honest. I like these gadgets. Uh Banana Man says, I think they're trying to appeal to people who say line lenses are too corrected and perfect. Interesting. That's a very good point. Maybe the being that it's not so coded and not so perfect gives us a very maybe more realistic feel to those photos. That's a great perspective. I appreciate that. I'm still hoping for a Z85 tilt shift for product photographers. Ooh, that's a good one. I don't see why they wouldn't. Nikon has any sign of slowing down. You know what I mean? Like people were counting out Nikon in 2020 during the pandemic. They're gonna go bankrupt and all this other stuff. And even Tony and Chelsea Northrup was a little worried about them and everything else. And man, they haven't let their foot off the gas since. Okay. Shout out to Nikon. Rainey says, I agree. Just wait. The 35-1.2 or better will come. Absolutely. Absolutely. If you're even considering the 35-1.2, don't waste your money on these lenses unless you just want to. Unless you just want to. If you have a 35-1.8 and it's doing you justice, you'll be just fine for now. And if you want to get the 1.2, that's different. But I don't think jumping to the 35-1.4 is really, you're not going to see the difference. Randy, I wonder if we would get the Z105. Oh, the Z version? I don't see why not. Right? It'd be crazy if they went straight to the 1.4 or even the 1.2 version, right? Oh, if it came in 1.2, that'd be sweet. Ooh-wee. I'd still get my Plano though. Roy says to Randy, the 105Z MC lives on my Z8. Yeah, that lens is great, but it's f2. Great lens. I've got that one too. But boy, if it came in the 1.4 or 1.2 and it's not my macro, that'd be great. Banana Man says, what do people do with the switch? Like, why not just turn the ring? Here's my thing. Okay, Banana Man. I usually turn that ring off. You know, let me see if I have a lens. Dang it. Where'd it? All right, I don't have one near me, but I tend to turn that, excuse me. I tend to turn that ring off. Reason why is when I'm holding it, sometimes like my middle finger or something may touch it and we'll switch it between autofocus, manual focus, or whatever it is, right? And that's super freaking annoying. So the switch is very, like, you really have to turn it to manual focus or autofocus, and you feel it, right? It's like you really have to give it some effort. It won't be switched on accident, that's for sure. So I like the safety for that reason myself. I sold my 105 F mount. Well, the macro. Well, I sold that 105 F mount too, and I sold it to put it toward my Z. Was it Z8? I think it was. I think I sold. No, I sold the 105 and put it toward my Z9. Shout out to that lens. Funds got used up, and I still have to replace it with the new 105 macro. Yeah, that 105 macro is clutch. It's really awesome, especially if you do weddings. That's the winner, or product photography. It's a great lens. Some non-S lenses are great. Some S lenses are not. S is no longer a guide to quality. Yeah, it's kind of hit or miss, but I like a lot of their non-S's. The 1.8s are great lenses. I think 1.8 lenses are so underrated. They really are. They give you great shallow depth of field. All the video I shoot right now, even though there's a 1.4 lens, I shoot at 2.0. So if it was 1.8 lens, it wouldn't hurt me. It's both full frame lenses. It's going to give you great compression. They'll save you a lot. The size benefit is there. So unless you really just want 1.2 lenses, a 1.8, you can make a great career off of 1.8 lenses. Like, I would definitely not think you're going to make bad photos if you had a kit full of 1.8 lenses. So, I think it really just depends on the person holding the damn camera. Rainey says, Voigtlander 50 f1 knocked is a lens I would like to acquire for my portrait work. Damn, 1.0? You have to tag me in those photos. If you get that lens, tag me in those. I want to see that depth of field. Crazy. And if you're shooting at 1.0, I definitely recommend on a tripod. Because boy, oh boy, that or shooting at 8,000th of a second or something, I don't know, just to freeze it. Because boy, that autofocus, if that subject moves a little bit. Fajar says, you know what's missing? Them lenses dedicated for ZF and hopefully built like those Voigtlanders. Now that would be awesome, because I got these lenses. I bought these lenses specifically for my ZF right here. Right? I bought these lenses specifically for the ZF because they're the cool retro kind. They're the SE versions. Here, let me see. Here we go. Here we go. There we go. So I bought these two lenses specifically for the retro coolness of it for the ZF. And yeah, it'd been kind of cool if they made a whole line, but also, I bought these for aesthetic because it just looks better on a ZF camera than the f1.8 lenses they have. So it would be cool. I don't know how many people would buy it though. My car is 25 years old, needs a save for camera here. Absolutely. Well played. Nikon is almost 100 years old. It's going to take a few pandemics back to back to end them. Absolutely. Absolutely. I turn off my ring. It's annoying and gets in the way. Exactly. I've noticed when I turn off my ring because my finger would hit it. And all of a sudden now I'm up to ISO 4000 or something. You know what I mean? Roy says we are all over concerned with f-stops. Some makers are very imaginative with their estimation, especially the cheap cine lenses makers. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. How many? I do go for the character of the lens though, like the bokeh. How's the character? How's the background, the fall off, etc. I do to pay attention to that though. George says, "How many cameras do you own, Robert?" Nikon, I have 3 cameras, and then Panasonic, I have 4 Panasonic cameras. So I guess that's 7. But I only have 2 hands, so there you go. Banana Man. Oh, that makes sense about the switch. The control ring on my 24 to 120 is so stiff it could never turn accidentally, but I just got the 40 and the ring is pretty slippery. Exactly. That's exactly why I like that switch, like boop, a dedicated switch. Now, when I use these lenses, I actually use the ring to control the aperture. That I like on these little lenses. For when I do street photography, I control the aperture this way. But otherwise, I turn them off on my other lenses. I surely will. It would be a few. Oh yeah, for a few wedding portraits. Absolutely. Let me know. Keep me posted. I gotta see it. Tag me, brother. Tag me. I shoot most portraits at f6, 5.6 or more. I don't even need super fast glass to kill ugly backgrounds. Exactly. Hey, that's why I'm saying f1.8 lenses are so underrated. They really are. But, for one good prime, you could get like 3 easily prime 1.8 lenses. Like, man, there's so many advantages to a f1.8 lens. So if your budget only allows you to get f1.8, I'm saying rock and roll, baby. Who cares? Go for it. I'll give you it. I even think Macho Man would tell you the same. Let's see what Macho Man would say if you could only afford a f1.8 lens.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there you go. He said it. Roy says Nikon is 107 years old. Gee whiz. You can't have too many cameras. No, I guess you can, My thing is just what am I gonna do with them all? Anyway, and Randy says, "Hey Robert, do you have any VND recommendations?" Woo! Honestly, the variable ND filters I've been using are all from ProMaster. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not like super like cinematic anal techie with neutral density filters and stuff. Me, I just like a variable ND just for obvious reason. Like if you're gonna get a circular screw on ND filter, I would recommend a variable just so that you have like 8 stops worth of filters in there built into one. Now, if you're gonna get one, like when I got the ProMaster, I got the highest quality grade, which is like their red label. Just go get the best one you can afford. That's what I'm gonna say. Get the best one you can afford. But I do recommend variable for circular polarizers for obvious reasons. Okay. I have like a whole little bag over there, a case that fits like 10 filters in them, and it's all different sizes. If I shoot video, I never leave the house without ND filters. That's a must. That's a must. Headphones is a must. Microphone is a must. Field monitor is a must. All right. Roy says, every stop faster a lens is, then double the size and weight. Well, there you go. Absolutely. Except in this f1.4 lens case, because it's pretty damn light. I think it's a little bit lighter than f1.8. But in theory, you're absolutely right. And is it really worth it, depending on the style of photography you want to do? If you want to do street, and f1.2 lenses tend to not be really street friendly. They're freaking big. So absolutely. Absolutely. All right, everybody. I am winded. All right. I'm absolutely winded. And no cheap ND filters usually have a color cast. Yeah, you do have to watch out for that. Absolutely. That's why I said go hard in the paint, best you can and afford. But do you need $400 ND filters? No. 200, 300? No. But maybe right around 200 could. If it's a variable ND and it's 200, that's different because you're getting like 8 stops worth. Completely different. But do your research. I unfortunately am not the huge techie when it comes to filters, but definitely I would check out cinematographers who are looking for filters, serious videographers, and check out their reviews. But definitely you want to get the best you can simply afford, you could pay for. That's for sure, because you're only putting, what you're capturing is only as good as that last element on your lens. You're only going to degrade the quality of your lens with a crappy filter in front. Can't you white balance the color cast? You could, but hey, whatever you could get in the paint, in the can, if you will, the best you could get, then why not that, right? But yes, you could fix a lot, especially if you're shooting like ProRes RAW. I guess you have more latitude. Lastly, why not crank the shutter instead of using an ND? You don't. Nope. You always want to keep your shutter at twice the inverse of your frame rate. Okay. So if you're shooting at 24 frames, you would want your shutter to be at 48 for the most realistic blur to the human eye. If you want to keep it realistic in terms of how we see, when we see a blur like this in front of your face, you want to keep that mathematics the same. So if I'm shooting at 60 frames, my shutter speed is going to be at 120 frames, give or take, et cetera, et cetera. If I'm shooting at 120, I'm going to shoot at 240, that sort of things. That's where the shutter 180 degree shutter angle comes from when a disc used to spin around as a shutter in film cameras. That's where that shutter angle really came from. But with all that said, twice the number, so twice the inverse, basically, of your of the speed of your camera. So if you're doing 24 frames a second, then you won't need it to be at 48, 1/48th of a second. So twice the inverse. That's if you're going for a naturalistic blur. Sometimes if you want more dreamy, you will slow it down, that shutter speed, even more. Instead of being at twice, make it 1-to-1 or more so. If you want more of a dreamy, slowy, sluggish framing in your video, and if for high speed for videography, like fight scenes, maybe you might increase it, right? So instead of being 80 degree, you might do 90 degree. Or excuse me, that'll give you more light. But you understand what I'm saying. So instead of being 148, 1/48th of a second, you might do 1/25th. And then that will give you need more light, but it will give you more of a fight, more crisp, but fight and jerky kind of a vibe, which would be great for fight scenes, action scenes, running scenes, stuff like that. Anyway, play with it. Play with them all, but understand why it is what it is. If you want the most realistic cinematic look, it's going to be twice the inverse of your frames per second. Anywho. Thank you, Rainey. Very much appreciated. All right, I'm getting a little tired here. Yeah, you already know when I turn on this song what that means. And thank you very much, Rainey. Appreciate you not only tuning in, all the questions, everybody. Great stuff today. Very active. Love it. Fajar says flash sync speed, and if it's for video, you'd want lower shutter speed. Absolutely. And then if you need less light entering the lens, aside from your ISO adjusting, that's what the ND filter is for, or a variable. Okay, that's how you're going to stop the light in video. But it's an art form. Not everything's written in stone, but there are certain rules that are just rules for good reasons. Anywho, please, on the way out, make sure you go. Wait a minute. Oh, thank you, Manila Martin. Thank you very much. Thanks for the comment. Appreciate it. Now make sure everybody, please go ahead on the way out, smash that like, that share, that subscribe, and yes, hit the bell icon to get notifications for my upcoming content. I will be going live this Sunday for a beach photo shoot, shooting natural light. So I hope you tune in for that live stream this Sunday. Next Sunday is July 4th. Next Thursday is July 4th. So I'm up. I'm not sure what I'm doing that day. So it will be 50-50 whether I go live. And if I do, hopefully, you guys all tune in. All right. What else is there? I will be doing a photo critique. Make sure you send in your photos for photo critique. It will be all headshots. If you have any kind of headshot, corporate, whatever it is, headshots, send them in. info@robertsilverphotography.com. Send me that email. All right. Outside of that, I hope you all have a fantastic day. And you already know, until next time, keep shooting and stay creative. Thank you for watching.
Join me every Thursday on YouTube for another live show of Let's Talk Photography. We cover the latest news, interviews with today's industry leaders, tips, tricks, lighting, cameras, and the business of photography. My weekly live stream is all about crowd participation. You're encouraged to ask questions, talk about the cool camera gear you've got or the camera gear you want to get. Hell, you could just join our open panel discussion during our Q&A portion of the show. The cost of access to Let's Talk Photography is very, very low. For today only, I'm hosting a very low price of $free $99 to subscribe and press that bell icon to get notifications of my upcoming